Hello there, everyone, and welcome to GamePoints episode 177. Your weekly little get-together. We talk about recent gaming news. I am, as always, your host, Stephen Brown, and joining me today is...
I'm David.
Tonight, David, we have got to talk about this Watch Dogs Legion leak. We got some Death Stranding and Call of Duty getting some rather massive info dumps, and of course, we do what every other lame-ass podcast does and give our predictions to E3 2019, because we are completely unoriginal on this show, and we'll just rip off what everyone else does.
Whoa. In our defense, we've been doing this for a long fucking time.
This is very true. Salty, thank you for your open to chat, and to anyone else who happens to be in chat, this is an audience interactive podcast. Feel free to throw out questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to contribute to the show. We don't always get to everything, but we do try to bring it up as long as it's topical to the topic going on. Topical to the topic. Because
topics.
I can word really well.
Welcome to GamePoints, where we speak words into your face.
Before we get into any of that stuff, however, I want to bring up the fact that Google Stadia just decided to surprise drop a conference on us this week. Now, for those of you who don't know, Google Stadia is that game streaming live service thing that Google was thinking of rolling out, or is going to be rolling out, rather. They've already experimented with this. If you remember that Assassin's Creed Odyssey test they did a few months back, this is
Google
it.
Project Stream.
Yeah, this is it fully realized. They have a quick little tease. It just simply says, some news, can't wait for E3. Watch our first ever Stadia Connect June 6th, that's this Thursday, at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, as we reveal more Stadia news, including pricing, games, and launch details.
Ooh, very fancy. However, I do have to remind everyone that Project Stream completely annihilated my data cap for my internet. I have pretty decent internet. A lot of people maybe don't. So look out for that. And also, if you recall, I think just the other day, there was a pretty large Google outage and a whole bunch of shit didn't work.
Yeah, it killed Snapchat, YouTube, Gmail, Discord, a whole bunch of shit.
So if all of your games live in the cloud and the cloud goes down, guess who doesn't have any video games?
Yes, that could be the same
physical hardware.
I was going to say that could be said. The same could be said for Steam. However, if Steam just goes bye one day, like the earth opens up and swallows all of Valve whole,
yeah,
your games are gone.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to download them again, but the games I have downloaded will do pretty well. I also have a bunch
enough.
of games from GOG that'll be fine.
Yeah, and the Google outrage.
With Stadia, you would legitimately have nothing.
Yes, I agree. Salty Frank in chat does bring up a good point that I was going to bring up earlier. He asks, could that have had anything to do with Stadia, the downage that is? I think so. I think they were trying to get something up and running to show it off, and something might have just eaten Google servers on their end.
Maybe they DDoS themselves. That would be fucking hilarious, actually. If they turned on like a huge bank of Stadia computers and had like all their employees go home and try and play stuff, and it just shut them down because they didn't have the bandwidth for it.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Because if anybody has the bandwidth, it's those guys, and I feel like they've done the legwork on this, considering the beta went by pretty well without them having any issues that I was aware of, and I didn't really have any problems on my end. So if they open it up to even more people, that would be surprising, because we would have heard about it.
Well, we could be hearing about that this Thursday. While we're on the topic, what do you think this Thursday is going to hold?
What, for Stadia?
Yeah, as far as news goes.
It's going to be $24.99, and it's going to have whatever games they can get people to get on there. So I'm going to say Ubisoft will jump on board because they're pretty open-minded about putting their games on other platforms. EA will be a no-show. Microsoft will probably have some stuff thrown their way.
I doubt Microsoft, because there's a story later on that Microsoft's going to be doing instead. I doubt that they're going to have anything on Stadia. Plus with remember, I think it was last week we were talking about how they're teaming up with Sony to do their own cloud shit.
Oh yeah, that's right. They wouldn't partner with Google.
No.
Oh, fuck those guys. All right, so they're going to have Ubisoft. They're going to have a Far Cry game. That's what's going on.
I personally think that, and this is just spitballing, that they're going to have another beta date announced. They're going to have a live
beta at some point.
Yeah, they might have a live date, but it won't be for like another year. They might talk about, well, it says pricing. It does say including pricing. You say $24.99 a month?
Yeah, why not?
What if it's $49.99 a month?
I mean, I'm not going to get it either way, so they can do whatever they want.
What if it was $5 a month?
Still not going to get it.
All right, because of that data cap issue?
Yeah, because it's going to cost me more than that to upgrade my internet.
I think that's the biggest problem, because you said when you had the data cap, when you had access to Assassin's Creed, was it Odyssey or Origin?
Whatever the new one is, Odyssey.
Is it the Greek one?
The Greek one.
Okay, Odyssey. It just destroyed your data cap.
Yep.
And for those of you who don't know, sometimes in areas, if you want to get unlimited data, you have to get the gigabyte internet, and that literally will double or potentially triple your monthly bill.
Yeah. It was a really crappy, because I had it for a couple of months and I didn't notice it the first month, and I definitely noticed it the second one, because this was also during the holidays of last year. So all of a sudden, holiday season 2018, and I had no money left.
Right, because it just all went to your data cap. Salty Frank in chat says he bets Stadia would be discounted for Pixel users, and that it's coming to Pixel phones. I don't even know what the hell a Pixel phone is, to be quite honest.
The Google Pixel?
Yeah.
It's the Google phone.
Okay. I didn't.
It's a phone made by Google.
I've never seen it. I've never noticed it. I don't know cell phones as well as I used to. I'm a Samsung guy, so anything outside of that, I just kind of go, eh.
They're pretty sweet.
Okay.
I can see that happening. Phones are fun sometimes. You can get Bluetooth controllers and all that other cool stuff. Plus, the game's going to run on a server, so why does it care what your phone has? As long as you got a good internet connection, it should work.
If you were to ask me about the price, I honestly think it's, I can see, I don't think it's going to be this, but I can see them doing something cheap like $10 a month. Because Google is the master of just eating the cost on things to drive businesses out. It's like YouTube. Google makes no money on YouTube.
They could do the Netflix thing and start it really low and just slowly jack it up.
That's what I think they're going to do. That's what I think they're going to do. They're going to make it stupidly low to kill competition and then slowly start cranking up the price.
That's very possible. I also think that they're going to be paying for a whole lot of server bandwidth with no income if they start it super low. And if they do start it that low, expect it to be shuttered within 18 months.
Really? You think they'll just kill it?
Absolutely.
You don't think that? You don't think Google Stadia is going to be something that lasts 2 years?
No. Not if they don't market themselves exactly right and love the results within 6 months, because Google loves to abandon projects. And yes, I am still salty about them turning off Inbox. Fuck the regular Gmail app.
I if you were to put a gun to my head, I would agree with you there. I don't see Stadia actually taking off, not because of what it is, but because of what people don't have. They don't have the requirements to run this fucking thing.
Yeah.
It immediately becomes niche.
Unless Google brings a fiber line to my house and then offers me internet for like $20 a month, then hell yeah, I'll pay $50 for Stadia, because that's cheaper than my internet bill.
Right. Yeah, just the requirements to get it to run is going to be beyond most people in America's ability. I don't know. I don't want to say most, but beyond a substantial chunk of America's ability to do so. Is Google Fiber still a thing?
No, they abandoned that too.
That's what I thought. I know, like Google Glass. That's not a thing anymore either.
Yeah.
I actually saw a couple people with Google Glass walking around, and I was like, okay, that could go somewhere, and it just went poof. Yeah, you're right. Google loves to abandon projects.
Yep.
Quickly abandon projects at that. Anyway, let us all know what you think about this Google Stadia conference coming out this week, what you think it's going to be about, guests, prices, dates, what could be the lineup. Beyond all of that, we'll just find out next week as we move on to news of the week. One more thing on that topic. It sounds like chat's saying that Google Glass is back. I didn't know that.
I mean, cool. I think it's a cool idea. Sounds fun.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Anyways, back to what was coming out over the past week or so with news related. This one is somewhat breaking, just leaked rather a couple hours ago. And that is the announcement of Watch Dogs Legion. Now, this is via Kotaku. Good old Jason Schreier reporting on this one from the article itself. The third Watch Dogs is now leaked thanks to Amazon UK. As a side note, how many times is it fucking the sales store like Amazon or Walmart that leaks this shit in advance?
Yeah, because they get SKUs really early.
Yeah, but how can they not have this shit under lockdown by now?
Okay. Instead of looking at it that way, what are the chances that some random employee of Amazon or Walmart literally doesn't give a shit, sees the SKU, and just puts it on the internet on accident? accident, quote unquote.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying, well,
Because if I work for Amazon and I don't work for Sony or Ubisoft or any of those other companies, and I hear such and such game in this big list of things that I need to start inputting, then yeah, why wouldn't I just put it up? What am I going to lose as a random employee that maybe is a fan of this franchise?
at best you get fired from your minimum wage job.
Yeah.
And it's not like Ubisoft
or you get written up, or your boss says, "Hey, turn that off," and you're like, "Oh shit, sorry, I clicked the wrong button," because I mean it worked for Epic.
Yeah, and it's just 2 seconds. It all takes is 2 seconds, and people see it. And it's not like Ubisoft.
You could literally
or
be
EA.
the one that puts it up on an internal server, snaps a screenshot, and puts that on Reddit.
And it's not like Ubisoft or EA
it was never
or
up in the
Activision
first place. You just did it.
can fight back against Amazon. They can't like leverage their power to go, if you do this, we're going to cut off sales to you, or there's lawsuits that could happen. They're not big enough. Amazon could squish all of them.
Yeah.
So they're kind of inept when it comes to that. So yeah, okay, yeah, that is why. Now that I think about it, that's why this stuff keeps happening, because there ain't shit they can do about it.
Yeah,
going on.
That's the big thing.
Back to the article. It's called Watch Dogs Legion, and Kotaku confirmed that this one's real and that we've heard the name from several sources plugged into the company. Watch Dogs Legion is set in London, once again kind of confirming every rumor that we've been hearing for like the past 9 months about Watch Dogs 3. And here's the really interesting gimmick. You can play as any NPC you recruit in the game. From the product description, play as anyone. Every individual you meet in the open world has a full set of animations, voiceover, character traits, and visuals that are generated and guided by the gameplay systems. What do you think about this, David?
I think it sounds like an overambitious version of Driver 3.
That's the one where you were like in a coma, you were teleporting.
That's the one where you're in a coma, exactly, and you're like possessing people while they're driving on the road so that you can solve the mystery of your own attempted murder.
Hilarious. Cool premise. However,
Yeah.
I hate this idea for Watch Dogs 3. I hate it. Yes.
It sounds like just generic custom character. Your actual player doesn't matter.
And that's why I hate it. It reeks of procedural generated bullshit shortcuts shit. Now, however, that said, it sounds like this is actually very complex and giving people problems with the development of it.
So that makes me think it's not what your worry is, and that the entire idea behind it is to make it so that the person you're playing as doesn't matter. You're playing as idea, which conceptually sounds really fucking cool to me.
It just sounds extremely gimmicky, because when you have this set of random variables to this degree, you can't tailor a story around it. So your story by default must be generic.
That makes sense. Because if you're just a random person, you walk in, the guy that you're talking to that gives you your mission can't be like, "Hey, you just did this thing for me, and now I need you to do this thing." It's, "You're who? Oh, okay. Let me give you
it wouldn't even be that. It wouldn't even be that like in depth. Not like I was expecting Oscars or shit from the plot to fucking Watch Dogs, but I do play I play a lot of games for the story. What as blah as it may or may not be. So when I hear things that are like this, that makes it sound like it could be taken away from the narrative, I just kind of go, I don't like that. We were having this conversation.
It could be that, but it could be that, every mission starts with an open meeting and they're like, these are the things we need to have done. Who wants to try and do this, that, or the other thing? And then you get to choose like which project you want to work on. And there's a group of people that have volunteered for the project based on the characters that you've recruited previously. And then you get to pick one of them and go on the mission. I don't know.
This is where we're getting kind of conflicting reports on this. Now, if it's like a limited number of NPCs that you can bring in, so think Metal Gear Solid 5 style, where you trank someone and drag them back.
Yeah, if you can recruit literally everybody, but when it comes time for missions, you pick from people that are tailor-made to the mission type, that would make sense.
Yes.
Like, we need to go hack this thing. Let me grab one of the guys that's got a good hack stat, as opposed to the guy that's good at shooting, because he's not going to hack at all.
Because then
maybe you have missions where you can play as the wrong character type, and that gives you an opportunity for some more open world style problem solving to still accomplish the mission, but not in the traditional way. This guy doesn't know how to sneak. This guy knows how to drive a truck. He's not a hacker, but he just steals a truck and crashes it in the front of the building and grabs a bunch of like flash drives and runs off.
And at that point, that you can tailor something to that because you're dealing with a limited pool of candidates. You have maybe 10 people to pick from, all of which are kind of the same, maybe slightly different skills between it. You can kind of tailor a mission around that. If it's like that, I'm a little more accepting of it. But there's kind of conflicting reporting going on here. From the article, it says you can play as any NPC you can recruit in the game. That is very different from the product description where it says play as everyone or anyone, every individual you meet in the open world. Those are two completely different statements. One is you are limited to picking a player based on who you can recruit, which would naturally be a pool of people you bring back to your base or whatever. The other is anyone you see, you can be.
Well, yeah, but keep in mind that anyone you see you can be, and I'm still willing to bet they're not going to have 600 voiceovers. There's going to be a batch. So if you grab a person, they're going to have randomized appearance, but they're going to be pulled from a certain subset of class and voice actor and animation sets. You know what I mean?
Oh, Salty Frank in chat brings up a good point. They could be doing the whole like anonymous thing where you put on the V for Vendetta mask. So think like Antifa black box bullshit. Where it's like, oh, the individual doesn't matter. We're going to put on a mask, wear black and red, and go smash the state or something equally dumb.
His name was Robert Paulson.
His name is Robert Paulson. Yeah. That would make sense, specifically in London, because London always seemed to has this like anarchy scene. It's where like the 70s punk revolution is claimed to have started. Sorry, guys, the Ramones came first. They're American.
I was wondering, really wondering where you're going to go with that. I'm like, what's he going to say right now?
Either way, I'm just I hear this play as anyone kind of thing, and I'm just not for that because it reeks of procedural generation, which on small scale is fine. Games like Binding of Isaac, Rogue Legacy, Child of Morta, things like that, where you have procedure generated items or the rogue light genre, I'm fine with. That stuff's cool in there. But when I look at AAA big budget titles, I kind of want a handcraft experience. I want them to have control over the fucking narrative. I know that seems antithetical when people are like, no, I want to pick my own way, blah, 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 blah. It's like, we've seen what happens when that happens. Everything eventually gets shuffled back into a funnel, and it seems ham-fisted as fuck. I just don't trust any company to be able to pull off what they seem to be claiming here without it feeling generic as hell. But we'll have to see. I can almost guarantee you we will get an overly long trailer for it during the Ubisoft conference, because if there's one thing Ubisoft loves during the E3 conferences are trailers that go on for like 15 minutes longer than they should have.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it. I don't give a shit about this. I want to talk about the next thing, so I'm just waiting for you to wrap it up.
All right, David. Well, why don't we go ahead and move on to the next thing here? Why don't you lead us off?
Hey, let's talk about our not at all buddy, but one of my favorite people, Hideo Kojima, and the fact that we had a new trailer for Death Stranding come out, and that's a big damn deal to me because it looks like I am going to lose the bet.
Did you ever find out what the bet was exactly?
You know, at some point I'll actually pull the audio and we'll worry about it that way.
I think it was we were betting what would come out first, this or The Last of Us 2.
Death Stranding or Last of Us 2. And basically you said, well, Death Stranding is going to come out first. Last of Us 2 is probably not going to come out this console generation. And I said, no, Last of Us 2 is going to come out in like the next year to 2 years. And Death Stranding is going to be the game that takes forever. And I just remember being kind of on the fence about it because worst case, if I was wrong, that means I get to play Death Stranding first. So,
finish the thought.
I think that's what's happening because it turns out Death Stranding is coming out November 8th, 2019. We got this, it's a Kojima trailer. I probably know less about the game now than I did before I watched it, but we actually have an idea of the gameplay.
No. I gotta stop you. Come on, you know less about the game than you did before. That's no way that's true. We have an idea of how the game looks like it's going to play now. We have some more background story to what's going on. We've seen some of the settings and environments. We do know more now than we did before. Now, it might raise more questions.
Tactical ladder action.
I believe the official description, if you look at the PlayStation blog, says cinematic adventure or some shit like that.
Sounds great. So you play as Sam. You're a dude that is trying to basically reconnect scattered societies after some bullshit went down into Worlds, and Mads Mikkelsen looks properly creepy most of the time.
Yep.
There's a motorcycle you can ride. Apocalyptica's in it, and they're still great. The environments look amazing. Decima Engine just kicking ass.
Let's slow these down a little bit first as we're going through here. So let's go back first to the Mads Mikkelsen in it. The trailer starts off with him singing to what he calls BB. It's the baby in the tube. They're apparently called bridge babies. I'm convinced Hideo Kojima is in love with Mads Mikkelsen and wishes that they were dating. Have you seen the way he waxes poetic about Mads Mikkelsen, specifically on Twitter?
Yeah. Are you not in love with Mads Mikkelsen?
I mean, I like the guy.
I thought everybody was.
I would have a one-night stand with him, but I don't know if I'm in love with the man. Come on. That's kind of a bit of a commitment to someone I barely know. That said, Kojima, when Kojima fixates on something, he really fixates on it.
I just liked his tweet that was like, now you've seen Fire Mads, Tar Mads, Singing Mads, Spooky Mads. Like, he had all these different like labels for the various Mads in the trailer.
Yes.
Pretty fantastic.
Let's move on to that motorcycle. That motorcycle looks cool.
Yeah, I'm down.
But
open world games with motorcycles it's the new horse.
I was going to say, is it just like the horse from Metal Gear Solid 5, or are you able to do things with the motorcycle like was in Days Gone, where you can upgrade it, put extra stuff on it, change it up a little bit, or is it just going to be the Metal Gear horse?
Fuck that. Is it full Kojima, and it's actually the Mach 5, and you could put all kinds of crazy contraptions on it and have it jump over canyons and shit?
Or at the very least have like some AI in it. Turns out it's alive. It's like Sam's mom or some weird shit.
It talks to you. It gives you advice. Leaves trails behind you so that the things that are chasing you get, stuck in tar.
It looks slightly like a light cycle from Tron, just without the blue neon glow.
It's more utilitarian, but yeah, I kind of get that vibe.
Apocalyptica during the trailer, like you mentioned.
Yep.
I forgot that band existed, but
so
apparently
did everybody except for Kojima. Looks so good.
Digging the environments, which is where I cut you off at. You see like him climb up a snowy mountain. There's a bunch of highlands. There's some weird swamp forest where he's being attacked by the BTs, which we now know means beached things, to go along with the Death Stranding. Do you know what a Death Stranding actually is?
No.
A Death Stranding is a term for a mass influx of ocean life that kind of beaches itself.
Oh, that's cool.
Thus the term BT, beached things.
All right. Things that get stranded where they're not supposed to. I don't know that he mentioned that while he was walking around in the open world, like kind of wooded forest, or not foresty, but grassy areas, the mountain in the background is the same mountain he's climbing on later in the trailer.
Yes, he did say you can just walk to it.
Yeah, so there's lots of places you can go. He mentioned the open world is pretty damn big, but not infinite. I'm just worried that it's going to have open world problem where there's not a whole lot going on.
So you think it might pull like a Breath of the Wild, where it's like, here's this massive, empty world.
Yeah, see, I would worry about that, but then I also remember that this guy made Metal Gear Solid 5, which was the best playing Metal Gear, and I'm hoping that this leans into like having a fantastic play style, but then more story because it's being given the proper amount of development time because he's been in charge of it.
Right.
I don't think he would rush his own game.
No, I don't think so either. And Sony just gave him a blank check. They went, here. Yeah. As much money as it takes, make it happen.
Yep.
When it comes to open worlds, there's a fine line. There is your massive open worlds that are completely empty. And then there are open worlds that have way too much fucking shit to do everywhere. Like every step is another fucking collectible or tower or cave or insert whatever pointless thing here. And after a while, it just starts to fucking grate on you. I hope this game finds a nice balance. What I would like is to go back to Metal Gear Solid. I don't want one massive open world. I want 3 to 4 really big maps.
I can see that.
Like think Monster Hunter. Maybe 2 or 3 times the size of a large Monster Hunter map.
Okay. So you're still contained and you have specific things that you can do in that area, but it doesn't just drag on forever and then have like rapidly changing biomes.
Yes.
Because while it's fun to go through a open world map and it looks way different, and this is the snowy part, and this part's a desert, and actually they're like a quarter mile apart from each other, it's a little weird.
Yeah, I'd even be willing to accept something along the scale of Horizon Zero Dawn, since it is using the Decima engine.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Horizon Zero Dawn very much had clearly demarcated areas. You had your jungle area, you had your desert area, you had your snow area, and it does kind of just transition very quickly. But I can accept that just from a game standpoint. I just don't want the map. I don't want it to pull a Breath of the Wild, where here's this massive map with nothing in it. But I also don't want it to be Assassin's Creed now, where it's just chock full of shit. Or
every
Witcher
4
3
feet I pick up a collectible or something.
Yeah. Or Witcher 3 even kind of had that problem.
Well, I don't think there's going to be a guy trying to give me a side quest on every corner, because I don't think there's going to be any corners. I think a lot of it is going to be you outside by yourself, but especially later in the trailer, being outside by yourself looks spooky as fuck when he gets caught up in the whole BT
yeah, it starts raining and the people chasing him kind of back the fuck off. They're like, oh, we're out of here. And then you have all these like semi-translucent floating people. That's when the game legitimately looks kind of scary.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. It looks great. I also really hope that when it comes to that you have no way to really combat them, or you don't get to do anything about them until super late game so they can keep the tension up. Because I would hate it to be, here's this spooky thing, and then 9 minutes into the game, here's your spooky thing gun that shoots electromagnets or whatever, and then it's just a generic shooter.
Right. You gotta watch out for that. It does have the dumb names that Kojima's known for.
Amazing names that Kojima's known for. Thank you very much.
Why don't you break down a few of those amazing names there, buddy?
How about Dead Man, Heart Man, Die Hard Man? The only reason he cast Norman Reedus is because he thought his name was Normal Man.
God damn it. There's also things like Edge Knot City, Void Outs, Homo Demons.
Yeah, why not?
I hate Kojima's names. It's
I don't care
Square
what you
Enix
think.
level of absurd.
False. There are no decimals and no fractions.
Just wait. I guarantee you there's some dude probably called Fraction Man somewhere waiting.
Yeah, but that's not an actual fraction. There's a guy named 1/3 Man. Then we could talk.
There's one more thing I want to bring up before we continue. Is that we're talking about the environments, the snow, the mountains, the swamps, the highlands. What the hell's up with that weird-ass World War I scene?
Flashbacks?
I don't know.
Mads is eternal?
That by far is the most intriguing part of the game to me. Is I want to look, because I have this weird. I don't have like a weird fascination of World War One. I have a weird fascination of World War One in video games.
Okay.
Because it's something that you just don't see often. We're just now kind of starting to dip our toe into it. You had Valiant Hearts, you had Battlefield 1. But like World War II, for example, has been done to death. Vietnam even has had more game representation than World War One has. I want to know what the hell that is. Is it actually World War One that we're seeing? It's like some hallucination or what? What is the deal with that? What is the deal?
We'll find out come November 8th.
Horrible
We'll probably see a little bit more in a week or so, but we'll see.
I don't think we'll see any more next week at all, because remember, Sony's completely skipping E3.
True.
I don't know about completely. They might have a booth up. I don't even know about that now that I think about it. But yeah, I don't think we'll get any.
I didn't look at them. I know the floor plan came out, but I didn't look at it.
I don't think we're going to get any E3 news from Sony at all. If they were going to have any, they wouldn't have shown this trailer a week before E3 or 2 weeks before E3.
I was just expecting like a state of play to come out during E3 week.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, but it doesn't sound like they're doing that. I think they might be kind of holding back. They know that if they're not going to have a presence at E3, that Xbox is going to suck all the oxygen out of the room. Why release a state of play when people on the internet will just mock you for not standing up to Xbox?
Sounds good. And then you just wait and then drop something at like a PSX in November, and then they have all the traction because they're the ones that are talking.
Drop it 3 weeks from now, when all the E3 business is over with and done, and you have all eyes on you rather than a quick glance at something and then trying to go somewhere else. I think that's what's going to happen, is that we'll have a state of play in like another 3 to 4 weeks. Moving on with other news this week, Death Stranding, of course, wasn't the only big game to get a bunch of info dropped on us. We also had Call of Duty Modern Warfare shown off. The yearly franchise had this year's installment debut a couple days ago. This information is coming via GameStop, by the way. Links, of course, will be provided in the description below. It's coming October 25th. So, typical standard Call of Duty time. No zombies in this. What do you think about that?
It's not Treyarch. Aren't Treyarch the zombie guys?
Haven't they always had a zombie mode in it since?
I thought the zombie mode was specifically a Treyarch.
It could be. I don't keep track of Call of Duty multiplayer anymore. I literally only play it for the single player campaign. I'm that weird asshole.
I haven't played one since Modern Warfare 2, so don't look at me.
A couple things that we do know. One, character progression will carry over between game modes, and guns will feel the same in multiplayer single player. That's actually kind of awesome.
I like that.
Because that means any unlocks I get during single player will go over to multiplayer and vice versa. So, cool. It's not like I'm having to play two separate games. It's all one cohesive unit.
That's cool, because you can beat the single player and then go into multiplayer and actually set up for it, as opposed to starting out a multiplayer and then having to unlock everything again after you'd already beaten it.
Yeah, fuck that. I hate that. One thing to note is the name, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, not Modern Warfare 4. And that's because it's decidedly not a remake, with developer Infinity Ward describing it instead as a reimagining. It's a new game not set in the same universe as the existing trilogy. Infinity Ward said the world had left little room to raise the stakes further, because literally Modern Warfare 3 ends with World War 3.
No, why not?
Or during World War 3, rather. But it does feature some familiar faces. For example, Captain Price is back, for example, with a new voice actor. One thing to note, Captain Price has been like in every fucking modern Infinity War game that I can think of. All the way back to Call of Duty World War 2, Call of Duty 2, rather, and Call of Duty 1. I think Captain Price is in both of those. There's always been a Captain Price in a Call of Duty. The only exception I can think of was Infinite Warfare. He is their go-to guy.
He's the Biggs and Wedge of the...
Yeah, he is the Biggs and Wedge of the franchise. This is fucking huge right here. The game will feature cross-play across PS4, Xbox One, and PC, allowing players on all platforms to jump into matches together. The cross-play feature is here.
Fantastic.
Genie's out of the bottle.
Can't wait for a bunch of console kids to learn what's really up.
I want that. That's a question, right? That's a good question to bring up. How are they going to compensate for that?
Like, Call of Duty is really competitive, especially for the FPS fans that I know. And I mean, if you're not playing on PC, that's pretty rough. But that being said, I did watch a couple of old school Halo pros from the Xbox days hop on to Apex on PC and play with Xbox controllers and still dominate. So skills are skills. I just don't know how it's going to work when you have the best of the best versus the best of the best from the respective places of play.
We'll just have to. There has to be some kind of compensation going on there, like an extra auto aim or something like that. There has
Either
to
that,
be, right?
or every version supports mouse and keyboard. PS4 supports mouse and keyboard for some games, not a bunch. This could be the new ones. And Xbox, I believe, added mouse and keyboard support a patch or two ago. So who knows?
Either way, the important takeaway from that is that crossplay is here. It's a thing. It ain't going away. This is the future now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds great.
Good them. And then finally, from the GameSpot article, Activision will not be selling the standard season pass that locks off new post-launch multiplayer maps. Instead, new maps and events will be available to all players for free.
That's genius.
DLC is going to come to PlayStation 4 first, because that's just a long-standing deal they've had with Activision. But no season pass.
Cool. They'll get their money somewhere else.
Microtransactions, boosts maybe, cosmetic packs.
Yeah. Unlock all the guns, unlock all the perks, something stupid like that. Yeah, I don't care. That sounds great, because I would play a lot of those games, and then you have all these new maps. I'm like, I don't want to spend $6 for new maps. I'm just going to stop playing this game. Nothing else.
I'm actually excited for this. I'm excited for the multiplayer to this, which is the first time I've been into a Call of Duty multiplayer idea since Modern Warfare 2. Noel Richardson, by the way, good to have you in chat. Appreciate you being here.
All right, let's talk about something that I think we saw coming about a year ago.
You really just have nothing to add on to this call. You just do not give two fucks about Call of Duty at all. You just hard jumped to this next topic right here. You're like, I'm not going to add anything into this. I'm just out.
I have nothing else to say. Yeah, there's a new Call of Duty game coming out because it is a year. And much like every year, and until the last year of humanity, there's a new Call of Duty game. This one is the same as the other popular Call of Duty game. It's a remake because every game coming out in the last 2 years is a remake. Like, what do you want from me?
Fair enough. I just find it funny that you have like nothing to contribute.
It'll probably be fun.
Fair
Call
enough.
of Duty games are normally fun. Just like going to a Michael Bay film. It's fun.
All right,
but yeah,
next topic.
let's talk about Microsoft and the fact that the Xbox Game Pass is coming to PC. Now, for a while, the Game Pass had some functionality on PC, but this makes it sound like we're going to get a whole new version of it. In a quote from the article, Xbox Game Pass is headed to PC with support from top publishers like Bethesda, Sega, Devolver, Paradox, and Deep Silver.
So they're going to have a big old stable of games to come out. And where's that article from there, David?
Eurogamer.
Thank you.
As with the Xbox One version of Xbox Game Pass, they have the same name, but they're technically separate, which seems weird. Why don't you just buy one?
So does this mean that if I buy one, if I have the Xbox Game Pass, I have to buy another one for PC? Is that what you're taking away from this? Because that's what I am. That's what I'm
Yeah,
feeling.
that's exactly what it sounds like. Which seems weird because I could buy the Xbox Game Pass that already exists to play Forza on my PC when Forza Horizon came out. So
yeah,
I don't know.
because there's a difference between the Games Pass and the cross-play shit.
Yeah, because there's the Play Anywhere game. So there are certain games that you could buy with the regular Game Pass and then still play on PC. So
there's some confusion here they have to work out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. But you will have all Microsoft exclusives will be on the same launch date and date in the program as their global release. They will start making new Xbox Game Studios exclusives available on other stores upon release, beginning with Steam. So they're not going to just have everything completely exclusive.
Good.
Steam launch for Halo: The Master Chief Collection was confirmed back in March. And then, Gears, Age of Empires, all that other stuff will eventually trickle to other places.
I like this. This is where it's going. Microsoft is trying to become the Netflix of games.
Yep.
And the first people to really get into it are going to be the ones that win, I think. And
as long as I don't have to use the Windows Store. If Xbox Game Pass is a separate app and I can just launch a different thing, because why not? I already have a million fucking launchers. What's one damn more? And I don't have to look at the Microsoft Store at all. Sounds great. Why not? Let's go.
I'm into this. I like this idea. I also like that they're putting their shit on Steam, too. Gears 5 on Steam, Age of Empires Definitive Edition. It begs to question why own an Xbox, but I get why. You don't want to deal with PC gaming bullshit because PC gaming is a bitch and a half. You have to update drivers. You have to do all kinds of shit. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work, and the Xbox is a nice self-contained unit that has all that on there. But once again, for people like you and I, David, why would we ever buy an Xbox?
Yeah, I have no reason to buy one because I have a PC, and all the games I really cared about were on Play Anywhere.
Yeah. So it just feels weird that Microsoft is limiting the buying power of their console.
They're just starting to homogenize it because they already had before with the Play Anywhere titles, you have cross-save, cross-play for PC and Xbox, and while cross-play is becoming more and more of a thing, this is taking that even further because if it's a Game Pass that could, but I know they're talking about it being two separate services, but if it was just one, play everything, that means you could start a game on your PC, walk into the living room, turn on your Xbox, sit down, and keep playing that same game, like the Switch, but with better hardware. That sounds cool.
There's just something about their business plan that I do not see 100% correctly. It still feels like Windows is one company.
Buy a bunch of studios, and then during the next console cycle, have a shit ton of AAA exclusives that will be on Game Pass that will make it worth it to people, and then they don't care if you bought an Xbox or not, as long as you're paying them the money. It still feels
like Microsoft is one company and Xbox is another company, and they're kind of competing against each other. It doesn't feel like it's never felt like they've been a unified front ever.
I don't really see that.
It's not just how it feels to me. I could absolutely be wrong. Something Frank in chat says Microsoft's been slowly making everything cross-platform for a long time. Like you have been able to join Xbox Party from the app on Windows for years now. Yeah, I mean they're definitely interconnecting the two platforms. It just feels weird. I can't put my finger on it. It just feels weird to me. It just does. Let's move on to the last news story of the week. This one is Interesting, but we can't say it's necessarily going to happen just yet. And this is also from Jason Schreier over at Kotaku. The makers
Now, see, what's funny is you say that this is from Jason Schreier Kotaku, but I clearly told you about this before he did.
My friend, if you take a look at the Discord server, of which you can be part of if you want to be part of the greater GameSpot community, the link to the Discord is down below, you will see that I posted this article up before you mentioned it to me.
All right, I gotta go through my text messages.
The makers of Divinity Original Sin 2 are testing Baldur's Gate, or teasing rather, Baldur's Gate 3.
I think actually me and Jason just follow the same people on Twitter.
I think so. Larian Studios, those are the guys that make Divinity Original Sin, put up a teaser on the company's website with a big old 3, which led many of us to believe that Divinity Original Sin 3 was en route. But some clever HTML snooping Twitter user by the name of Kunkin, confirmed by Kotaku, leads to a whole bunch of hints that this is Baldur's Gate 3, officially licensed from Dungeons & Dragons and makers Wizards of the Coast. That is why I am not willing to necessarily say that this is Baldur's Gate 3 just yet. Because just because some Twitter user went to the HTML thing and started going into it, do I think this is Baldur's Gate 3? Yes. Am I going to say that this is what this is for sure? No, because it something seems off about it. I don't think this is going to be what we think it is. There's something in the back of my head that's going, this isn't Baldur's Gate 3. This isn't Baldur's Gate 3, and I can't tell you why.
Well, there was a rumor back in October that Larian specifically was working on Baldur's Gate 3. So there was like something in the water a while ago. But I think the big takeaway for me is I think I'd rather just have Original Sin 3. And I know a lot of people will be really mad at me for saying that, but none of the people at Larian, while they are fucking amazing at making an isometric RPG, none of them are from the Baldur's Gate crew. And while I think they could make a fantastic game and a totally like serviceable Baldur's Gate game that will be amazing, it won't be a true sequel because it's not their story.
I'm worried that it won't feel right either. And I think that might be why I'm not just all in on this, because it doesn't feel like a match. Like Baldur's Gate.
I think it will be awesome, but what if it's just a Baldur's Gate game that plays like Divinity?
That's my problem. I don't want it to play like Divinity. I want it to play like Baldur's Gate, and I don't know if Larian can necessarily deliver that, but we'll see. I will say one thing though. Thank fucking God it's not Beamdog. Now, Beamdog are the guys that made all the enhanced editions of Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2. They did Planescape Torment recently. I think they did Neverwinter Nights recently, too. I'm not positive on that. I respect their work on those enhanced editions. They actually go a long way to make those games more palatable for a modern audience. But the new shit they added, like the new characters, the Siege of Dragonspear expansion, that stuff was just at best. I do not like their own original created stuff. So, thank God that if Baldur's Gate 3 is coming, it is not in the hands of Beamdog. Guys at Beamdog, I appreciate what you did to restore the classic ones, but your new stuff is, I do not like it at all. So, I would rather it be Larian than Beamdog. However,
I do have to jump back and say that even though I'm potentially concerned that it's not going to be a proper sequel or whatever you want to call it, Larian has not let me down even a little bit at all with any of their releases. So, yeah, I'm still going to probably buy it. Regardless.
If it turns out to be Baldur's Gate 3, I'm going to buy it day one. I'm going to be excited for it. I just don't... Original Sin is not Baldur's Gate, and I don't want it to be.
Maybe it doesn't scratch that exact itch, but I'm willing to bet it will still be amazing for whatever it is.
I'm also going to be super judgy if it just picks up and doesn't actually have any callbacks to the original Baldur's Gate at all. And I don't want it to just be set around the city of Baldur's Gate. I want it, if you're going to call it Baldur's Gate 3, God damn it, I want it to be Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh no, they're too good for lazy shit like that. These guys are proper nerds. I've met a bunch of them. They're great.
Yeah. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm sure we'll get confirmation on this, what it is, later this week or next week. David?
Also, happy belated birthday, Sven. I'm sure you watch my show.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. David?
Yeah.
If you didn't know, there's a Something to Doings happening this week and next week for video game related stuff.
Oh, what? Am I going to play Rock Band at a friend's house?
No. It's called E3. It's that giant convention that happens when everyone announces a whole bunch of shit. but yet it seems like it's getting weaker and weaker every year.
Yeah, I feel like we also had this exact conversation last
Yeah.
year and the year before.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed how E3 was better back when the internet wasn't around and we didn't know what was coming?
Yeah, the leaking culture has definitely sucked some of the surprise out of E3. However, that doesn't mean that there's not still some surprises on the way. And if you want to watch E3 live, there are plenty of conferences that are going to be happening starting Thursday all throughout from then till next week. We have those times and days for you if you want to watch E3, and they're as follows. First off, the Stadia Connect, which is June 6th, this Thursday at 9 a.m. By the way, all these times are going to be Pacific Standard Time, so type them into your computer where you live out and find out what that subtracts or adds to from there.
Set a reminder in your phone.
Yes.
That.
So yeah, Stadia this Thursday, we talked about that. EA Play is going to start at 9 a.m. Saturday. Now, this is going to be a weird one because EA is not actually doing a conference. What they're doing is just a bunch of live streaming demos, including
They're the
Jedi
only
Fallen
ones
Order.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Normally the way E3 works is you got like a couple studios each day. EA just has Saturday. There's so many people not being there. The split is really.
It's odd. I don't expect much from this. We're going to get a little bit on Jedi Fallen Order. But then the other games they have announced are literally like Battlefield 5, FIFA, Madden. No Anthem. Anthem is not going to get talked about at E3 at all, from what I'm hearing. Same with Dragon Age.
Man, you just ruined one of my E3 predictions. Shut up and get to the times.
BioWare is fucked, and I hate to say that. Microsoft will have their press conference 1 p.m. on Sunday. It's apparently going to be a long one, and I fully expect the consoles to be announced by then. Bethesda will have theirs that same day at 5:30. And Devolver, the only E3 conference you really need to watch, is 7 p.m. Sunday.
Can the magic strike thrice?
Yes, it can. In Imagos movies, I trust.
All right.
Moving on to Monday, you have the E3 VR Showcase. This is the VR showcase from the Upload VR guys at 9 a.m. on Monday. You have the PC Gaming Show at 10 a.m. on Monday. Kind of a toss-away conference, at least it has been the past few years. I've never really seen
Cyberpunk won't be there, so there's no reason to watch it.
Right. Ubisoft does theirs at 1 p.m. on Monday. Expect this to be an hour and a half longer than it actually needs to be, but have some good stuff in there still.
And a music number.
And a very awkward Just Dance music number. The Kind of Funny Indie Game Showcase at 4:30 p.m. on Monday. This is essentially Greg Miller and the crew over at Kind of Funny getting together and having a whole bunch of indie games to fill in the void that Sony not being there has had.
Hey, you know those guys.
I do know those guys. I may or may not have been on their show a couple times. Square Enix is having their conference at 6 p.m. on Monday. Expect... You know about the... I'm going to add that to my predictions. I'll get to it later. And then Nintendo Direct will be at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. So if you want to watch any of those, that would be the times to do them. Hey, Weiner, how you doing? Thank you for showing up in chat. Time, David, for us to do that lame-ass thing that every fucking podcast does. It's not original. It's really dumb. None of them come true. That's right. It's time for our E3 2019 predictions.
In our defense, we've been doing them for years.
And we're still not the first one to do it.
And we're still so bad at it. Oh, man.
So
how do you want to break this down? Because I didn't write any of my shit down in order. Also, if you have predictions and you're in chat, write that shit down and I will read it aloud. The more ridiculous, the better.
Yeah, this isn't going to be that serious at all. Mine are serious, but honestly, who fucking cares, right? Just say what you think's going to happen. Try to keep it somewhat in the ground of realism rather than a giant Godzilla monster is going to eat the LA Convention Center. But I think you know what we're looking for here. Let's see. Dictates good. Is there an episode every week? Yes, we do stream Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here at Twitch TV, except next week.
Oh, yeah, because we're moving next week to Tuesday because of E3.
I figured now would be a good time to mention that. We are going to do this next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah,
but thank you for asking. David, why don't you go ahead and lead us off on E3 predictions? And once again, remember, if you're watching us live here at Twitch or in chat at YouTube, feel free to give us your predictions down below. Silly, solid, real, whatever. I just want to know.
I have had this prediction every single year we have done this. It is always the first thing I write down.
Okay.
It is a Nintendo prediction. It will never fucking happen. But dear God, please yet let this year be the year where I get a goddamn F-Zero game.
Not going to happen, because I'll go ahead and lead into my prediction that fucking rumored Star Fox racing game will get shown off and released this year.
Why?
So there is my prediction to counter your prediction. Salty Frank says Sony just has a booth with 24/7 rotating sax players to replace the flute. I am so down for that.
Oh, dude, epic flute guy from last year.
Yeah,
that was great.
It's, all joking aside, that flute guy is apparently only one of 10 people that know how to play that instrument.
Yeah, and that guy was a total badass.
Yeah,
people got mad at him for reasons. Okay, how about more unrealistic bullshit? Let's talk about things that I think will come back that won't actually come back. We're going to go through Armored Core, Ridge Racer, and Gex the Gecko.
Okay, Ridge Racer won't become... Well, Ridge Racer's Namco. I take that back.
Yep, Ridge Racer absolutely could come back, and it could be on the next PlayStation. I don't think they would announce it now, though.
Armored Core could theoretically be on the Xbox stage, because I'm fully convinced that we're going to get a From Software announcement on the Microsoft stage, and that will be their rumored George R.R. Martin game that they've been supposedly teaming up with.
Which will probably not be an Armored Core game, but come on, FromSoft.
No, but if they're going to do an Armored Core...
There are fans of this franchise. There's dozens of us.
If they're going to do an Armored Core, it would be during that time.
Yeah, why not?
My prediction... 80% of what Square Enix has to mention at their conference will be revealed before their conference.
Oh, that's hilarious, because I have that exact same prediction, but for Ubisoft. Ubisoft will have absolutely no announcements that we don't already know.
It just gets leaked. I wrote down.
Yes, we will know everything that Ubisoft is doing all the way right before. Like the last secret will be revealed within an hour of their conference.
Salty Frank predicts that some game company will probably be one that mobilizes mobile AR game to try to monetize sleep, but that could never happen, as a subtle jab to the Pokemon sleep announcement that happened a couple days ago. Notice I didn't even bother to include that on our show notes.
Sleep for at least 3 straight hours, and we'll automatically charge your credit card.
That's some bullshit. What do you got next for us, David?
More Final Fantasy VII circle jerking, where we see nothing beyond the opening act of that video game.
All right, I'll do you one better. Final Fantasy VII Remake gets a nebulous spring 2020 release date. It will not make that date.
Also, it's going to be the first chapter of the game.
Yeah, it will be confirmed episodic. It'll be dated for spring 2020, but I'm convinced it will not make that date. They'll say it's spring 2020, but we ain't getting it till 2021. I know this is a prediction that requires 18 months of waiting to make sure we follow through, but I'm convinced that that's going to happen.
That's okay. I can make a prediction that's not even E3 related, but it's still going to be in the spirit of things. Okay. PS5 will be able to play on disc PS1 and PS2 games, because why not?
Okay, this goes back to my whole thing about how Sony's just not even going to be there at all. So I'm just going to retroactively kill this one for you right now.
That's fine. I just wrote it down.
While on the topic of Square Enix, Final Fantasy VI will be announced in the Octopath Traveler style.
While that would make my heart sore, it's not going to happen, because if there's one thing Square Enix doesn't want to do, it's please their fans. Instead, we are going to hear about a new game called Kingdom Hearts The Memory Begins, which is set 100 years after the rest of the franchise.
Just some new Kingdom Hearts game out the gate. I don't think we'll get that. I think we'll get DLC, but I don't think we'll get that. But The Memory Begins set 100 years after the franchise. That's some shit I can see them doing.
The squarest thing you've ever heard of? Yeah.
I'm jumping to Microsoft right now. Now, I hinted at this earlier with you, but I didn't mention it on the show. Microsoft, during their conference, will have a classic RPG shown off from In Exile and Obsidian. The reason why I think this is going to happen is because if you combine the talent at In Exile and Obsidian, you have the entire original Fallout team. My guess, they're making Arcanum of Magic and Steamworks Obscura 2.
Could happen.
I would love to see that.
With Microsoft, this is a bold-ish prediction, but since Microsoft is going to have a lot of free time and no actual competition, they're going to swing, and they're going to announce a full 10, double to AAA exclusives to launch within the initial launch year of the Xbox 2 or whatever the fuck it's called.
Launch year, launch window?
I would say launch year, because some things will get pushed to either late in the year or, the next quarter or whatever.
But 10,
double digits or this prediction does not count.
Okay, so minimum 10
Yep.
exclusives. Now, exclusives,
Just
Xbox
bam,
only,
bam,
or does
bam.
that count on PC as well?
No, nothing's going to be Xbox from here on out.
Okay.
That's actually another prediction. There's no longer any games that are exclusive to just the Xbox.
Okay. Gotcha.
They bought so many studios that they're going to swing for the fences. They want the momentum. They want the hype. They're just going to go bam, 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 bam.
They're going to do like a Nintendo did for when the Switch first came out and just really top load it with some amazing ass shit out the gate.
Yep, but it's going to be really hard because they're going to have to follow the fact that THQ is going to announce in the hypest sizzle reel trailer of all time, everything you ever loved is coming back as they show off 40 new games.
40 games. It's going to be everything you kind of loved, not everything you actually loved. That said, I do expect Destroy All Humans to have their announcement next week.
I did write 40 THQ games.
Back to my predictions. Rocksteady will finally show off its new game at the Xbox conference. What it's going to be, not Batman, but it will be something superhero / DC related.
Suicide Squad or...
Suicide Squad, Outlaws, something.
Oh, here's something that I really hope for that's not going to happen. But come on, now's the time, Capcom. Give me Dragon's Dogma 2. That
I'll raise you on that.
7 years ago. It's fucking amazing. It just came out on Switch. I've been playing it nonstop. I don't know how I slept on that game when it was released. That game needs it.
No. That's not going to happen. My next prediction, Dino Crisis. Either a remake or a remastering of some kind will be shown off at E3. A new Dino Crisis.
Dino Crisis running in the RE engine?
Yep.
That would be amazing. But come on. Dragon's Dogma.
No. Dragon's Dogma's dead. It ain't going to happen. Salty Frick says Nintendo will air a Nintendo Direct on a blimp Megatron outside of E3. I'd be down for that.
That's fucking amazing. Oh, here's one. Final Fantasy 16 is announced, and it's another online Final Fantasy game because fuck that entire franchise.
God, I would hate that so much. That sounds like something Square
They
would do
waited.
'cause I hate
They
it so
waited
much.
3 games to have one online last time. Now they're only going to wait 2 because how many games released between 14 and 16? Technically, a lot. Now's the time.
That's almost as bad as having like a Final Fantasy 13 trilogy.
Yeah.
Microsoft's new console, whatever the hell it's going to be called, will be dated for November 10th, 2020 at a $499 price point.
Oh, fancy. I think this is going to be the first time they release something that actually has the 49 price.
Like the $449?
Yeah, like a 449.
Just to make it as cheap as possible?
Yeah.
It could be.
Just because the 99 is so common, I could see them being like, it's $50 cheaper than you thought it was going to be. We blew your fucking mind. And they're also going to talk about, a new Forza game and all that other bullshit. But that's part of their AAA list.
David, what else you got?
I just have the crossplay initiative is Sony and, Xbox will talk about it, and Sony will later confirm on Twitter that they are going to work on bringing more games to everyone as the games start to play together, combat Stadia, and to combat everybody else. Everything's everywhere. Just buy the thing you want to buy. Here's all the stuff that we have that monetizes our system. Here's all the stuff they have that monetizes theirs. And that will be the actual console war next.
Right. So my last two, David, I'm going to combine into one because they kind of play off each other. First, Cyberpunk 2077 gets dated for March 17th, 2020.
No, absolutely not.
Additionally, Splinter Cell comes back and gets dated for March 17th, 2020.
Okay, cool. If that is going to be your last predictions, then I will put this one in, which I wrote down as a fucking joke. Squadron 42 gets another reveal.
At the PC gaming show.
Yes, Squadron 42 is the only thing at the PC gaming show. And they're like, hey guys, guess what? We need more money. This is actually crowdfunding. Here's another teaser for a game that's never coming out that we paid a bunch of actors to be in. It's not coming out for at least...
Ever.
It's not out ever, but that's what they'll say. It's coming out in 2020.
The reason why I think we're going to get a Cyberpunk 2077 release date is because scuttlebutt is that game, like the higher ups at CD Projekt Red are saying, yeah, that game's coming this year behind the scenes. But everyone actually working on it are saying, no, it's going to get delayed until early next year. So I'm picking March 17th because March has been a very busy game the past few years for video games. Additionally, Splinter Cell has to be coming back, and I expect there to be next year equal. Remember last year when everything big was coming out on the same day in March?
Mm-hmm.
Like Anthem was releasing alongside a bunch of other stuff whose names I can't remember. I expect that
Crackdown.
same
Because
thing
somehow
to happen.
Anthem is the only one that you remembered.
Well, yeah, somehow that was the game that stuck. I expect a similar thing to happen next year, where all these big titles are going to bump up against each other on the same week. And in my
that's
brain,
because everyone is going for that Q4 release because the holiday season is so crazy. No one wants to release in Q2. Fuck the summer.
That's why I think March 17th is going to be the next big, huge date that everything's fucking released on, and it makes sense in my brain that Cyberpunk and a new Splinter Cell would both come out on that day.
I think that Cyberpunk will not be there at all.
I am almost positive that CD Projekt Red themselves has said Cyberpunk is going to be at E3.
See, I'm almost positive they said they're not going. So let's find out who actually remembers the internet better.
All right, let's
also,
find
talking about people that won't be there, Anthem is never mentioned. And
yeah, Anthem
BioWare
is not coming up.
Is never mentioned. Actually, the saddest prediction I wrote is BioWare shutters within 90 days after.
As of 10 hours ago on GameStop, new Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay to be shown but not played at E3 2019.
Cool.
So they are going to be there.
Congratulations on your ability to Google in the middle of the show. That's very rude to all of our guests.
The fuck?
That's not what I do most of the time.
David.
Yeah.
These predictions...
Hold on. Salty Frank, prediction, Xbox switches from DirectX to OpenGL processing, so changes the console name to OpenBox. I like that a lot, actually.
David?
Yeah.
These predictions, as dumb as they fucking are, we're not going to know what they are at least until next week. In some cases, not even until next year, because I'm an asshole that plans things way out. I'm going to be bored between now and then. So what is possibly out there that can occupy my time until we figure out who's right and who's wrong?
Jesus Christ, I forgot to talk about new releases. All right, let's talk about games that are coming out this week for the things that you like to play games on.
Go fast.
Warhammer Chaos Bound for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This game is already out on Steam. It's got mixed reviews. It is a fantasy Warhammer game where you play as a dwarf rising up to face the Chaos Hordes. It looks like a Warhammer-based Diablo clone that's not quite as good from what I'm hearing.
It is exactly that. I've been playing this a couple days now on stream. Full disclosure, I was given a code by PR to do this. 4 classes set in the Warhammer universe. Each act is dedicated to a Chaos God. The first one's been Nurgle. The next one has been Khorne. I can only imagine it's going to go Slaanesh and then followed by Sneech. I actually kind of like it, but it is very much a budget title.
All right, anyway, back to going fast and not being rudely interrupted. Time Spinner comes out for Xbox One and Switch. This is a Metroidvania indie RPG with Super Nintendo style graphics. This game, I think, looks awesome, inspired by classic 90s action platformers. You're playing as a timekeeper on a quest for revenge. This came out on PC a while ago. It's got very positive reviews. Persona Q2, new Cinema Labyrinth for 3DS. This is a interesting twist on the Persona stories because they can't just make a Persona game. They have to make a bunch of weird spin-offs. This has the protagonists from Persona 5 meet the ones from Persona 3 and Persona 4 in a weird cinematic world. They get trapped in a movie or something like that. It is an expansion to Persona Q. It's got Persona 5's combat, and, you know, it's Persona as fuck, so enjoy.
If this was on Switch, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, it's not, so what are you going to do? BattleTech Urban Warfare comes out for PC. It is another expansion of BattleTech. BattleTech is a franchise that exists in the 80s. It's one of my absolute favorite things in the goddamn universe, and I will probably pay it. It is a game that has tactical giant robot action, and you can play it if you like any of those words. Stellaris Ancient Relics comes out for PC. This is an expansion to Stellaris, which is a big-ass 4K game that I know you love a whole hell of a lot. And this expansion is only $10. I felt it was important to tell you that.
I already have it. PR was kind enough to give me a code to this, and I will be playing it on stream later this week.
I'm willing to bet it's amazing. Elder Scrolls Online Elsewhere hits PC this week. This is where the Khajiit live. All of you dumbasses complaining that the name is stupid. It was made in the 90s, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
my
favorite complaint about this is like, oh, what a 90s fucking name. It's like, guys, this shit has literally existed since the 90s.
Yeah. It's old. It's real old. It's where the Khajiit live. They've also got wares if you got As Divine Dios, Xbox One, PC. This is an old school adventure RPG. It looks kind of traditional in the sense that it's 2D kind of side scrolly, but turn based and still has an overworld, all that kind of fun stuff. MotoGP 19, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. I'm willing to bet the Switch one looks like ass because that's one of the things that I've seen recently with a lot of these racing games. That all the trailers, especially on the actual Nintendo Store, are footage from the PC version, and the game itself will look like shit.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I can't believe they do that
anywhere else.
Yes,
yeah, it's like a common problem. But yeah, this is the official 2019 championship for MotoGP. If you like motorcycles like I do, you will probably play it like I will. Warlocks 2 God Slayers comes out for PS4, Switch, Xbox One. This is another Metroidvania RPG indie action game where you challenge gods and dethrone them. Retro aesthetics, modern gameplay. It's got 4 friends in local and online co-op, and it's got 5 different wizards you can play as and kill people. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2 hits PS4. This game came out, I think, on Xbox and PC a while ago. This is the Legend of Heroes series that's got the giant robots. They're a whole bunch of RPGs that are not really in like a Control Legend of Heroes universe.
It's a series that's been around for a long time, but I've
the first
never
one
really
I played was on
at.
the first one I played was on PSP, and it was a classic top-down like Chrono Trigger style RPG. And then there's a bunch of other ones. So the subtitle is the gameplay you're getting. So Trails of Cold Steel, that's giant robots. And finally, Octopath Traveler, the best Super Nintendo RPG to release in the last 2 years, comes out for PC. Come for the beautiful art and classical combat. Stay for the beautiful art and classical combat, because the story ain't it. Sorry, guys.
That was my... See, Octopath Traveler had everything fucking going for it except the goddamn story. I was so annoyed that...
Don't let that put you off, though, because the game is still fucking amazing to play if you like old school JRPGs. It's great. Just don't expect to be like, oh my god, it's the great... The characters have literally nothing to do with it. Nothing. They don't even talk or mention the entire time. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like 8 mini stories combined.
Yeah, you're playing through 8 separate stories, but it looks amazing. It's got great music, and it's got great combat.
And yes, I know the secret ending apparently ties it all together. I don't give a fuck.
That's not actual story. Like, come on, son.
Yeah. David?
And I think that's it.
And
I got through that in 5 minutes. You guys are welcome.
With that being the end of new releases, that of course means the end of the show. Thank you all for showing up. We definitely appreciate it. Salty Frank, Dictates Good, Weener, Nolan Richardson, to everyone else who happens to be lurking in chat. Always welcome to have you here Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here at Twitch TV/GamePoints, except for next week, in which case we're going to be Tuesday because it's E3 times. If you can't join us live, feel free to go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/GamePointsPC, where we put up a bunch of old playthroughs, shows, etc., all that good stuff that you might miss here. You can follow the show on Twitter at GamePointsPC. You can follow myself, Stephen Brown, at CapitalistPig21. You can follow David there at PowSlife_Satori. Feel free to like, follow, subscribe, throw bits at. If you're sitting on an Amazon or Twitch Prime account and you haven't used that free sub yet, I'd appreciate it here. But if you don't use it here, use it somewhere, please. It does go to waste. Also, be sure to tune in to the channel repeatedly throughout the week as I stream random shit. This week is going to be Stellaris with the Ancient Relics expansion. We got to get back to Outer Wilds again, which is an amazing little game. And we might even be doing some Battletech too. Haven't, quite made up my mind on that just yet.
Also, you should download Rogue Tech if you haven't already.
Rogue Tech?
Yeah.
What's Rogue Tech?
It's a mod for Battletech that makes it so you're like an actual freelance. You don't have to work for anybody. It doesn't have a central story. It makes it more like MechWarrior 2 Mercenary.
Interesting. It's good to know. Thank you all for showing up, everyone. I hope you all have a good E3. I hope you all's predictions come true, and I hope you all get what you want. But until next week, we're out of here.